need to lose some weight.
Nothing tastes as good as skinny feels. Oh, God.
You're not ugly, you just need to lose some weight.
Nothing tastes as good as skinny feels. Oh, God.
You're not ugly, you just need to lose some weight.
Nothing tastes as good as skinny feels. Oh, God. Nothing tastes as good as skinny feels.
Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Jen. It has been some time since I made a video and I apologize for that. I have been going through some ebbs and flows. What am I doing with my life? What am I doing with this channel? Like, I have been in all sorts. But we're back. We're sitting down and we're going to have a little chit chat today. I want to talk about what's been going on with social media and the word skinny. It seems like everyone is obsessed with being skinny, especially with the rise of Ozempic, celebrities transforming their bodies from overweight to very, very slim, and how that has trickled down into the general public. And so I want to talk about my sort of weight loss journey to start off with, because I feel like it's very important to talk about something I've experienced and what a lot of women are experiencing these days, and just the societal pressure to be skinny. So back in 2020, when I had my baby, my first daughter, she could be my last, praying to the gods it's not. Love to have another child. All right, we're sidetracking already. Now, 2020, I had hyperemesis when I was pregnant with her. And after I gave birth, I was the tiniest I have ever been. The slimmest of the slim that I could ever imagine. I've never seen my body like that. I'm just going to point out, I was extremely tired, extremely lethargic, felt frail and felt very weak. My brain started to get a little bit twisted in my perception of my own body because everyone was commenting on how small I was. Strangers on the street, people I knew, they couldn't believe how skinny I was. And then that started to have a very negative impact on my self-worth and how I used to value my body. And so I put a lot of pressure on myself to stay a certain size. Then, a year went by, my relationship with my ex fell into bits, my life was crumbling around me. And so what do I do in that moment? I emotionally eat. I was comfort eating. I was not taking care of my body. I was just surviving at this point. I was not thriving in any means. I was surviving. And so I put on a bunch of weight. I looked in the mirror one day and I was like, oh my God, I do not like what I see. If I sound sick, it's because I have a cold, so bear with that today. And so I looked in the mirror, didn't like what I see, didn't like who I had become. So I started sort of a weight loss journey and tried to get my health back to where it was before, focusing on how slim I was and how tiny I was before. And that put me in a really bad state of eating habits, restricting, binging, and sort of fast forward to 2023 is when I really educated myself on nutrition, weightlifting, running. I ran my first half marathon in 2023, ran my first full marathon in 2024, really focused on my health and fitness. And my body changed as a byproduct of all the fitness I was doing. I stopped focusing on the size I was and stopped obsessing on how slim and tiny I could be and focused on how I felt as a person, because I think it's really easy to get caught up in the size. But I have never felt more strong, more fit in my entire life. And I am not what I look like, what I used to, but I love how I look because it's just a byproduct of everything I've achieved and everything that I didn't realize I wanted. I never realized how much being fit and strong can change your mindset and how you feel about yourself. Throughout this fitness journey that I've been on and putting out how skinny I wanted to be, I feel amazing and I've learned so much about myself and how capable I am. And that is something I definitely want to pass on to my daughter and hope she has the same feelings towards her body of what it can do instead of how it looks. And so that's why I wanted to talk about, SkinnyTok, because I think it can be quite negative for some people. And there's a couple of creators I really want to touch on because a lot of their content is focused on body image, body positivity. It's very body focused. And I think a lot of us would have heard by now of the creator Liv Schmidt.
Act fat, get fat.
With Liv's content, the thing about it is, logically, she's not saying the wrong thing. Inherently, it is right. The delivery of how she says it is very questionable and somewhat negative, a little bit satire, like...
About making decisions as someone who is already skinny, not someone who is trying. It's about choosing discipline over comfort every single day. The truth is, most people would rather stay stuck and fat because it's easy. It's easy to eat garbage, skip your workouts, and blame your genetics or your schedule. It's easy to stay in the loop of, I'll start Monday. But skinny people, we don't do that. We don't wait. We don't whine, and we definitely don't quit.
If you weren't in a great mindset, Liv Schmidt's content could negatively impact your mindset on your body, how you perceive value in your body, which I think is a very big thing, is other people's perception of your body then dictates how you see yourself. And so Liv Schmidt swears by living skinny is the best. That's the glamorous life. And she paints it as this pretty picture of living skinny. Now, does Liv tell you to eat less food? Yes. How she says it is where it gets a bit questionable. Taking 5 bites of your pasta isn't really going to satisfy you. That's not going to fill you up. You're still going to most likely be hungry. And yes, having only maybe a small bit of dessert is still letting you eat that nice thing without putting on the calories. I see where she's going with it, but the delivery on it, And she says, move your body, drink lots of water to be skinny. That's what skinny people do. Emphasizes the word skinny a lot.
Living slim in the city, skinny travel day routine. I'm not going to Miami to indulge in food. I'm going to prove you can live like an angel anywhere. Models don't diet, they just choose correctly every time.
For someone who's not in the right mindset to really logically think about this situation or what she's saying, could take this to the extreme, really minimizing their food intake, not eating enough, feeling extremely tired, putting a lot of pressure on their mental health, and being obsessed with being skinny. So Liv's content can be quite negative. Would I want to live like Liv 24/7? No. It's not my ideal standard of living because I think it can be quite restrictive, and someone who isn't educated enough on nutrition and health could find it extremely hard and just not putting the right foods into their body, resulting in just malnourishment and feeling absolutely terrible. And so Liv's content solely being based on being skinny, I just don't think that's great. But in saying that, if a fitness influencer, guru, whoever was to say this sort of stuff, but said it differently, people perceive it in a different way. With Liv's content, for her to say having a smaller portion isn't incorrect. But if a fitness influencer was to say eat in a caloric deficit, but make sure you get your protein, fats, carbs, all that jazz, it is one, educational. It gives the viewer a little bit more context.
If you want to lose a kilo of body fat, this is what you have to do. And it doesn't involve a lemon or celery or any of that shit. Let's break it down. 1 kilo of body fat stores 7,700 calories. Therefore, to lose a kilo of body fat, you need to create a calorie deficit that equates to 7,700 calories over a period of time. So a good example would be eating 550 calories under your maintenance calories for 2 weeks. That would equate to half a kilo lost per week.
Here is your simple guide on how to calculate a calorie deficit. If you have the goal of fat loss, you need to be eating less than you burn on a daily basis, which means you need to be in a calorie deficit.
And so it's done in a healthier way instead of just saying portion control. Because that can mean a lot of different things. Like someone could take a portion control as I'm just going to have one piece of chocolate, which is great. But if your one piece of chocolate is maybe your whole meal or something, or that's a little bit exaggerated, or only eating a quarter of your meal but still feel hungry, you're going to most likely have a binge and a restriction problem right there. You'll end up only eating very little, maybe for a few days, and then just binge out on a bunch of food the next couple days and feel terrible and have this guilt about why can she do it, why can't I? And for a lot of viewers of Liv's content, it's just very negative. But if a fitness influencer was to tell you how to have a caloric deficit, eat the right types of food, it's not that bad. Do you see what I mean? Am I making sense right now? Because essentially they're saying the same thing, eat less. But the way the delivery is going to affect a viewer so much differently. And so that's the problem with Liv's delivery of her content. It's just a very blanket statement. So a fitness influencer to say move your body in a healthy way, eat less, is better for a viewer to get proper education on health and fitness if you are going to take education from an influencer. I always think get education from a dietitian, a nutritionist, someone with a degree, a personal trainer. That's always going to be your best bet. But money's tight for most people. So the internet is a great way to find information, and you can learn a lot. A lot of my weight loss journey, fitness journey, I just got online. I can't afford a personal trainer. I can't afford a dietitian, nutritionist. It's definitely something that was trial and error for me. So I had to base a lot of the information I got from the internet. And there was fails, there was wins. I figured out what worked for me, what didn't. So I understand why people go to social media for advice on their weight loss journey. I just think Liv Schmidt's delivery of it is just not very, I don't want to say not positive, because she is, I guess, trying to do better, I guess, to inspire people to live a certain way. Skinny isn't the be-all, end-all. Just feeling better is what you should strive for, and seeing what your body can do, in my opinion. And so that brings me on to Clara. I feel like I have to be American to say it. Clara Doa. She is a body positivity influencer who preaches all about having body positivity. Duh, that's what I just said. But she and her brand is all about you should feel good about the way you look. Don't be grossed out about your arms hairs. You know, it's all natural. Everyone is beautiful. All that jazz. And then the internet had a slow turn on her content because she came out with a YouTube video saying how to be skinny. Because her narrative that she presented to social media was that she was naturally skinny. That's how she always has been. But with this YouTube video that she came out with, it more appears to be more of a conscious effort to how to be skinny, and how that she only eats a very small portion, only eats when she's really hungry, like all these sort of skinny mindset things that Liv talks about.
But skinny people, we don't do that.
And now Clara. The whole internet sort of turned on her and her content is because she threw out a narrative that it was all about body positivity and her body is just naturally like that. But no, it's not. Shocker. It comes with the price of not really eating or eating very little. This is sort of the issue when skinny or your body is your whole brand, and why I would never recommend having your body as your whole brand. Because one, there's a lot of pressure to look a certain way for a certain period of time. Bodies fluctuate, bodies change, diets change, your health changes. And so for these creators making this sort of content, I don't know if they're inherently doing it on purpose to be negative or be harmful. I don't think that's the case. Maybe Liv, her content is very like, ugh. But why I wouldn't have my whole branding as skinny is that just puts a lot of pressure on a content creator for their body to stay the same for a long period of time, which just isn't natural for the human body. We fluctuate, things happen.
Yes, I did have a boob job. I know this might come as a shock because my whole page used to be about loving my flat chest and being confident with it. I literally built my entire career and following around that. So why did I do it? Am I crazy? Was everything a lie? Was I secretly insecure this whole time and just use body positivity as a way to make money so I could finally afford?
I am fucking crazy. But I am free.
For these content creators to base their whole personality solely on their body, they must hold a lot of value to their body, because if you are letting an outside world value yourself and your body, that will have a negative side effect to your mental health. Because if you start to look a different way, I'm sure you're going to sorry, my nose is so blocked. I'm sure you're going to get different comments, or maybe negative comments, maybe positive comments. And I don't think the word skinny is a negative word. I think it can be negative to some people. Some people are just naturally skinny. Like, some people have these genes where they are tall, slim, and just naturally look like that. But for a lot of us, especially women, we tend to hold a little bit more body fat than men. I just think for creators to push this narrative of being skinny is better is just very negative for the creator, for people watching this. And I think we need to sort of let go of focusing on skinny and more focusing on health. I think that's what we should prioritize in life. And I also think I just want to touch on this is body trends change. Yes, right now we are going through a skinny phase, but like, let's not forget 2010s was all about thick, curvy, hourglass figure. 1920s was more straight up and down. 1990s, I'm sorry, I'm all over the shop with my years, but that was all about heroin chic. Body trends change, and I think the more women try to adapt to what the trending body is, we can never be really comfortable with ourselves, if you know what I mean. I don't know. I just think branding your whole content about your body is just going to have a negative side effect for everyone involved. That's just my opinion. I would love to know what you guys think about SkinnyTok, about people being obsessed with skinny, Ozempic. Like, let me know what you guys think. If you have made it this far into the video, please comment a pineapple. Let's do like an emoji pineapple if you have made it this far. And don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.